Okay, I'm going to record this presentation. This will be a backup in case anything happens to our webinar, June 18th. And this will be a way that you still have the content information on the total gut restoration. So the first slide here just goes over some of the history. Many of you know that Tom Bain is a chiropractor, Kiran Krishnan, a microbiologist. They are the ones who really tapped into the potential of bacillus spores and started the Microbiome Labs company, which was originally called Physicians Exclusive. And Kiran's background was really in the research world. Tom's was in the clinical world. They're both in the Chicago area. And yeah, so here's the headquarters was in St. Augustine, Florida. I think now because of COVID, almost everyone is virtual and works from home. So we've seen some changes even in the company because of what has happened. This is a great schematic for showing the healthy gut versus the leaky gut, how the products focus on the three primary areas to keep the gut integrity intact. Megaspore works on the reconditioning on the mucin 1 layer for the diversity. The Mega Prebiotic works on the second step here, which is the reinforcement of the keystone strains by feeding certain strains oligosaccharides. And then the Mega Mucosa works on the mucin 2 layer, which is to rebuild that mucin layer and protect the underlying epithelial cells to keep the tight junctions in place and to prevent metabolic endotoxemia, which is leaky gut. So this is what happens in leaky gut. You've got the ratio of gram-negative bacteria overwhelming the good gut bacteria, producing lipopolysaccharide, which degrades or eats into mucin 2, which then destroys the epithelial cells. And as you can see, the tight junctions are destroyed and it floods into the lumen where the immune cells recognize the toxins, start an immune cascade. You've got the interleukins and the cytokines reacting. And now you've got a situation of gut inflammation. And this happens every time we eat. And it gets worse and worse to where you have this underlying systemic inflammation, which is the root of all chronic illness. So this is really the point where these disease systems start, autoimmune disease, and everything is exacerbated by the inflammation. So the solution, using the reconditioning, reinforcing, and rebuilding, and the three products that we've designed for the total gut restoration. The first being Megaspore, which is helping with the diversity. You know, you're looking at an environment that's very much like a garden, and you've got to till, you've got to fertilize and remove the weeds in the soil in order to have a good garden. And you're modulating the microbiota with quorum sensing. These have a hierarchical quorum sensing ability. That is a chemical surveillance system where they know where they are and who's in their environment and how they can affect the environment. They increase short chain fatty acids by 40%, which really correlates with how much diversity. So with just this one product, you don't need to alternate probiotics because it can increase the diversity just in itself. It encourages the keystone bacteria like the Akkermansia musciphilia, Faecalibacteria, Perniciae, and the Bifidobacteria. So it jumpstarts it. I would say the percentage is about 20%. And this is the first step. We always start with Megaspore. We titrate it, 1 capsule every other day for a week, and then 1 a day for a week, and then 2 each day. For the titration, here shows you each of the benefits, not having to refrigerate. All 4 billion CFUs actually get to the gut because it's not destroyed by the gastric barriers. That increase in diversity is also going to enhance the lactobacillus and bifidus. You can't add to your microbiome the lactobacillus because that window shuts it at 2.5 years old. Increases the short chain fatty acids, as we explained, and it's useful for gut reconditioning, of course, food sensitivities, allergies, inflammation, basically all disease conditions. This is the clinical trial that was published in August of 2017. Oral spore-based probiotic supplementation associated to reduce incidence of postprandial dietary endotoxin, triglycerides, and disease risk biomarkers. So the endotoxin we're talking about is lipopolysaccharide. This is showing the increase of lipopolysaccharide postprandial or after you're eating a high-fat meal. And then this shows the effect of the spores, which is very dramatic at squelching the effect of the lipopolysaccharide. So statistically, it reduces, the spore-treated group reduces the lipopolysaccharide by 45%. The placebo group continued to increase in the metabolic endotoxemia by 32%. So the net is a 60% difference between the groups. This shows the other analytes that resulted from this study, and each one of these are now a standalone clinical trial because of the effect on ghrelin. We're doing a weight loss study, the effect on insulin and glucagon. We're doing a diabetes study, the effect on different inflammatory markers. We're doing an autoimmune disease study. Okay, so this continues with the results of that clinical trial, which has now been expanded from 30 days to 90 days and even more analytes in their own standalone clinical trials. The second step is the prebiotic. Here we showed this is like the proper fertilizer where you're feeding the specific keystone strains, oligosaccharides, and our studies and our clinical results have shown that they increased by 80%. So remember, we're jump-starting them with Megaspore. You get a result about 20%, but this is how you really help them to thrive. Specific oligosaccharides that specifically jumpstart individual keystone strains are derived from these food particles, but there's no food particles or materials or antigenic molecules left in these products because it's just the oligosaccharides. So people have sensitivities will not react. This is a SHINE study. It stands for Simulator of Human Intestinal Microbial Ecosystem. And you're able to really study what the effect of probiotics are on the system and what they do in the microbiome itself. This is the study that we did on the prebiotic, and where we got the statistics that Megaspore increases the keystone strains by 20%, but it's the prebiotic that helps them to thrive. It increases by 80%. And here shows the short chain fatty acid increase, which again helps with the diversity. So here's the conclusion. Megaspore alone increased by 24 to 70% in total short chain fatty acids. And the latest study that was published in the International Journal of Pharmaceutics showed that the prebiotic with the Megaspore together increases microbial diversity in the gut and increases total short chain fatty acid production by 80% to 140%. It's highly recommended to take the prebiotic in conjunction with Megaspore. This is another clinical trial that was published showing the effect of Megaspore on the condition of IBS. And the result was that Megaspore performed better than the commonly used pharmaceutical drug rifaximin. The third step in the total gut restoration is the megamucosa. And here we're increasing that thick gelatinous mucus layer using the combination of the 4 amino acids and IgG2000 and the citrus polyphenols. Very effective at reducing inflammation and increasing the mucin layer. So we put all 3 of these products together. And here's showing the individual effect of the immunoglobulins to neutralize the toxins, the amino acids to increase the mucin 2 layer and build the mucosa barrier, and the citrus polyphenols as an antioxidant and to increase the short chain fatty acids to reduce inflammation. The immunoglobulin is also in a standalone product called Mega IgG 2000. It's dairy-free. It's a serum-based immunoglobulin. It binds and eliminates the lipopolysaccharide and other exotoxins. Here's showing the ongoing research. Triglyceride study was just published, shows that it is as effective as some of the commonly used drugs. And then these are in their preliminary stages, but are also showing very good results. And these are some of the centers that we have cooperation with. So I hope you found this useful. Please get back to me with questions and I will help you. Thank you.